What's up, everyone? It's the Tin Man with the Resistance. If you're watching this, you are the Resistance here on TWWRN. If you like this video, by all means, share the living hell out of it because this is an issue that needs to be addressed and it's pertaining to a topic that's not getting a lot of attention. Mainly, it is a subtopic to a hot topic that just is not getting the attention it deserves. And that is in regards to the school shootings. Now, as I said, share the living hell out of this because this is something people really need to think about. I'm not going to talk about the student lives versus the Second Amendment argument. I'm not going to talk about any of the youth being used to propagate any of this nonsense. It's already been talked about. I'm not going to focus on any of that. Nor am I going to focus on many of the popular reasons and possible pretexts to these shootings, such as government corruption, false flags, mental illness, bullying, psych medications. I'm not going to dive into any of that because everybody else has already done it. Now I'm going to talk about something that nobody's freaking talking about. Firstly, we all know the government's corrupt, so I'm not going to get into the dynamics of false flags or anything like that. But we do notice that this agenda for gun control is being pushed by the Democratic Party. And if you notice, whether or not you believe in the idea of false flags or government-sponsored terrorism is irrelevant, which is why I don't want to get into that dynamic. The fact of the matter is, it's an amazing coincidence that ever since the Clintons came into the limelight during Bill Clinton's administration, up until present day, school shootings since Columbine have been on the rise and have only gotten worse since Hillary has refused to step out of the limelight after refusing to bow out gracefully in her loss to now President Trump. So I do find a lot of these variables to be important and, dare I say, not without merit. But there's a bigger issue that nobody, I notice, seems to be talking about. And that's the schools themselves. We all want to blame the guns. We want to blame bullying. We want to blame psychotropic medications or mental illness or this or that. But nobody wants to look at the schools. And I have to wonder why. The schools are the ones in charge of our kids' safety. They're there to learn, to grow, so on and so forth, or so we've been told. And ever since 9/11, security allegedly has gone up in schools. You now have campus supervisors in abundance. You have campus police being increased. And in many cases, you have had perimeter fencing put up to where it limits the exits and entrances to schools, and also metal detectors in many schools. And all of this has been propagated. In fact, the metal detector thing, you see that all the time in media, such as movies and television. Don't think so? Watch fucking Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. Beginning of the movie, you see kids going to school, going through the metal detectors. Same thing in the second episode of season 1 of the Sarah Connor Chronicles. Same thing. Kids going through the metal detectors to go to school. Now, metal detectors aren't in every school, but it makes one think. Schools, in particular, have been the target for shooting fish in the barrel for all intents and purposes. Donna Russell said ban teenagers. And that's kind of what I'm getting at here. Schools are supposed to be a safe place for learning, but we do have the bully variables. We have a crap ton of variables in play here, and despite numerous provisions being put into play, kids are still getting guns into schools. Adults are coming in and shooting up schools. Why the adults are shooting up the schools, I have no freaking clue. Because what the hell do they have to do with a particular school? They're not getting expelled for doing something stupid or a regular attendee getting bullied. And that goes back to what I'm saying here. You have all this additional security and added provisions, gated off schools, surveillance cameras, increased staff, increased police presence. How are the kids still getting guns into schools? Even if they don't have metal detectors in the school, you still have surveillance cameras, you still have the majority of the schools that are gated off. You have increased staff to where if a parent even walks onto the campus and is in the wrong area, somebody confronts them and goes, "Hey, can I help you?" So how the hell are people getting onto a school campus with something as big as a freaking AR-15? And now you have this new proposed idea that we're going to have clear backpacks for everybody, as if that's going to help anything. Yeah, you piss the kids off with that one, but where's that really going to help? You can't exactly hide an AR-15 in something like this, okay? An AR-15 is just too damn big. Okay, so that's just silly in and of itself. A handgun? Maybe. An AR-15? No. And frankly speaking, if you're going on to school with an AR-15, how the hell are you not getting caught? How are these kids not getting caught with big-ass fucking assault rifles and whatnot? Where are the campus police? Where are the patrolling campus supervisors? The yard narcs? Where the hell are these people? Who's monitoring the surveillance cameras? Who's leaving the gates open to these schools to where anybody could walk in and out of any one of numerous exits? Seems like the schools aren't exactly doing their job. Now, this is not the first time we've had issues with the schools. We have students and teachers having sex together. We have the bullying variables. We have even staff who have bullied children. You have the questionable ethics regarding religion in schools. You have all these variables that would suggest that school is just not a safe place for our kids. So it begs the question, is it guns that are the problem? Is it sick kids that are the problem? Or is it the school being allowed to be the proverbial fish in a barrel that is the problem? I don't know. Just a little something to think about. Now, a lot of people would be asking, what alternatives do we have other than sending our kids to public school? Well, you have homeschool, for instance. Oh, well, we work all day. Okay, that's fine. One parent goes to work, the other works a separate schedule, or doesn't go to work at all. Or you have a lot of people who are stay-at-home parents that are on welfare for whatever reason. Why can't they homeschool their kids? Why can't there be a program offered to where you don't have to go to a public learning facility in order to educate your kids? There are options, numerous options, that are open to people. Then you get the argument of, oh, well, kids won't get the social interaction that they would get in school, so they won't be able to function in society. Bullshit. I happen to know several people who have been homeschooled that are social butterflies. Grew up popular, had fun with the kids that they interacted with. You know, they had their own social cliques, grew up to be respectable adults. So any of the arguments and contrasts to homeschooling is completely mute. But whether you want to homeschool your kids or you want to send them to public school, that's inevitably up to you. But the fact of the matter remains, our kids going to public school is like shooting fish in a barrel, and something needs to be done about it. Gun control and gun legislation isn't the answer. Neither is placing the blame here nor there. Okay, we need to start looking at the schools and holding the schools accountable. We had a school shooting recently where an officer took out a prospective gunman before he had a chance to kill anybody. Barely got any media attention. We need more of that. We need more awareness of school staff in our schools. The campus supervisors and campus police need to make sure that the gates are locked and that accessibility during school hours is limited. And we need to make sure that the staff who's supposed to be patrolling the campuses are in the places that they need to be, rather than off somewhere dicking off. Otherwise, whether you outlaw guns or not, this kind of stuff is going to keep happening. Psychopaths will be psychopaths, whether they're mentally ill or whether they're medicated or not. Crazy homicidal nuts are crazy homicidal nuts, regardless of whatever label you choose to attach to it. If you want to keep your kids safe, you need to start looking at the schools and start making some changes there. Whether you want to homeschool your kids or whether you want to change the system at its source is inevitably up to you. But if you want to send your kids to public school, you might want to start with the school before you start blaming everybody and everything else. Because it all starts at the schools. Like I said, you've got numerous variables that present school to be a major problem. You want bad things to stop happening in schools? Fix your schools. This is Tin Man with the Resistance. If you're watching this, you are the resistance.